What if I told you that trying perfectly hard not to make a mistake in English is, well, the exact reason you actually keep making them?
It sounds totally backwards, right? But it's true.
It really is. So welcome to today's Deep Dive. I am your host, and today we are exploring a concept that might, completely change how you approach learning, speaking, and just interacting in a new language.
Yeah, we are talking about the art of letting go.
Exactly. We've gathered this really wonderful collection of guides and psychological insights, and they look at how we handle our invisible emotional weight.
Right, that baggage we all carry around.
Yes, the baggage. And our mission today is very specific. For you, the listener, we are going to explore how releasing this baggage of the past doesn't just make you feel emotionally better, it actually it changes the mechanics of your brain.
Which directly helps you learn faster and, speak much more freely.
Yeah. I want to start with a physical analogy right away because I think it sets the tone. Imagine you're carrying this incredibly heavy, just overstuffed backpack around all day.
Oh, I can feel my shoulders aching just thinking about it.
Right. Your muscles are tense. You are exhausted. But then think about that profound physical relief you feel the moment you finally take it off.
You just drop it on the floor.
Exactly. You drop it. And suddenly you feel so light. So today, we are going to figure out how to take off the mental backpack, especially when it comes to speaking English.
Because the human mind is, it's fascinating when it comes to learning a new language.
Yeah.
As adult learners, you already have a fully developed intellect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have complex thoughts, you have opinions, you have a sense of humor. But when you try to express those things in a new language, there is a gap.
A really frustrating gap, honestly.
Totally. And falling into that gap, like using the wrong word or struggling with pronunciation, it can feel incredibly vulnerable.
It makes you feel kind of foolish sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our research today focuses on the mental clutter that builds up when we, hold on to those vulnerable moments.
Right. And the material we are looking at draws a very sharp contrast between two specific words, feeling heavy and feeling light.
Those are key words for today, definitely. Heavy and light.
Yeah, and I kind of want to unpack why we use physical words to describe invisible emotions, because we do this all the time.
We do, yeah.
When we say a situation feels heavy, or, the first key sentence from our sources today, my heart feels heavy, we're describing a physical sensation.
Right, because a heavy object is literally hard to lift.
Yeah. It requires effort just to hold it. It slows you down.
Which is actually a brilliant way to understand what psychologists call cognitive load.
Cognitive load. Break that down for us a bit.
Sure. So in psychology, there's this concept where our brains literally process emotional pain or, say, social embarrassment using the exact same neural pathways as physical pain.
Wait, really? The exact same pathway?
The exact same ones. So when our sources talk about the past acting as baggage, it is not just a nice poetic metaphor. Your brain treats the memory of, a humiliating grammar mistake you made last week the same way it treats a heavy physical weight.
This just consumes your energy.
Exactly. If you are dragging suitcases full of past embarrassment into a present-day conversation, your brain is exhausted before you even open your mouth.
That makes so much sense. But I have a theory about this. I want to know what you think.
Let's hear it.
I always thought we hold on to the past because evolution wired us to remember pain so we don't repeat it, like touching a hot stove.
Right, the classic hot stove example.
Yeah. You get burned, you remember the pain, and you never touch the stove again. So wouldn't our brains naturally hold on to the memory of a language mistake just to protect us from looking foolish a second time?
That is exactly the evolutionary mechanism at work. Your brain is trying to protect you. It wants to protect your social standing.
Right. It's trying to keep me safe.
But the problem is, while avoiding a hot stove keeps you physically safe, applying that same survival trick to language learning creates a prison.
Because you literally have to make mistakes to learn.
Yes. Language acquisition requires trial and error. It requires you to touch the stove, so to speak, over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's true.
And when your brain treats a mispronounced word as a dangerous threat, it triggers a defense mechanism. You freeze up.
Which brings up a really poignant line from our sources. The guides suggest we start by simply acknowledging the situation with a very clear, simple statement.
My heart feels heavy.
Exactly. My heart feels heavy. It is such a profound starting point because it requires honesty.
It really does.
You have to stop and admit that the way you are approaching this learning journey is just exhausting you. You are carrying too much.
And recognizing the weight is Well, it's the only way you can decide to stop carrying it.
Right.
So many learners walk around for years feeling anxious every single time they speak English. And they just assume that anxiety is a normal, permanent part of learning.
Like it's just the price of admission.
Yeah, but they forget they are choosing to carry that baggage. So the sources offer this very gentle, but honestly revolutionary counterthought.
Which is?
It is okay to put it down.
It is okay to put it down. I want to pause on that just for a second for our listeners.
It's powerful.
It is just giving yourself permission. You know, you do not have to carry the embarrassment of yesterday's conversation into today.
You really don't.
But I will say, moving from that comforting thought to actually doing it, well, that seems incredibly difficult.
Oh, absolutely. It's the hardest part.
Right. It is one thing to know the bag is heavy and that it is okay to drop it. It is entirely different to figure out how to pry your fingers open and let it fall.
Yeah, that transition from awareness to action is where the real work happens. And the physical imagery used in the texts here is very deliberate.
How so?
They describe the action of letting go as literally opening your hands.
Oh, I see.
Think about the tension required to hold a heavy bag. Your muscles are strained, your fingers are locked tight.
You're gripping it.
Gripping it. So to let it go, you don't actually have to do something new. You have to stop doing something.
You just have to stop gripping.
Exactly. You have to relax the muscles, open your hands, and let gravity do the work.
That is such a powerful distinction. Letting go isn't an active effort. It is the end of effort. It's stopping.
Yes.
But let's apply this directly to the fear of making a mistake, because I do want to push back on this idea that we can just easily open our hands.
Okay, push back. Let's do it.
Well, if I am a learner, right, and I'm sitting in a really important business meeting, and I need to present an idea in English.
High stakes situation.
Very high stakes. I am gripping that fear tightly for a reason. I am thinking, if I worry enough about my grammar, if I police every single word before I say it, I will perform perfectly.
Right. You think the fear is helping you.
Exactly. I think the worry will stop me from making mistakes.
And in your experience, how often does that actually result in perfect performance?
Basically never. Usually it results in me freezing up, totally forgetting my vocabulary, and just staying completely silent.
Exactly. The mechanism behind that freeze is what linguists call the affective filter.
The affective filter. Okay.
Yeah. When you are highly anxious or hyper-focused on not making a mistake, your brain is overwhelmed by cognitive overload.
You're just trying to do way too much at once.
Way too much. You are trying to formulate an adult thought, translate it into English, remember the grammar rules, and monitor your own anxiety level to protect your ego.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. Your working memory simply crashes. The fear doesn't act as a shield, It acts as a wall that blocks the language processing centers in your brain.
Oh, it's like driving a car forward, but you are staring entirely into the rearview mirror.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yes. You are so focused on the mistakes you made 3 miles back, or terrified of the mistakes behind you, that you simply cannot see the road right in front of your windshield.
And of course, you are going to crash in the present moment.
Yeah, you're not even looking at the present.
Exactly. The rearview mirror analogy perfectly illustrates the danger of that tight grip. By holding on to the fear of looking foolish, you basically guarantee that you cannot communicate effectively.
Wow. So what's the solution the sources give us?
The sources counter this trap with a personal declaration. They say, you should repeat this. I release my fear of mistakes.
I release my fear of mistakes.
Yes. It is a conscious decision to stop staring in the rearview mirror and finally look at the road ahead.
Saying that out loud feels a bit terrifying, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Because it means accepting that you will stumble. You are agreeing to let things be messy.
But look at the alternative.
Right.
If you remain silent just to avoid making a grammar error, you might protect your perfect grammar record.
Right, because you didn't say anything.
Exactly. But you completely fail the primary goal of language, which is communication.
Right. You didn't connect with anyone.
A messy, totally imperfect sentence that actually conveys your idea to another human being. That is a massive success.
And a grammatically perfect sentence that you are too afraid to speak.
Is a failure.
I see. So releasing the fear isn't about suddenly becoming a flawless English speaker. It is about becoming a free speaker.
Yes, beautifully said.
And our guides emphasize this transition beautifully too, with the instruction, let it go and be free.
Let it go and be free. Freedom in this context means your mental resources are finally unlocked.
Because you dropped the bags.
Right. When you are free from the internal grammar police, All that brain power that was being wasted on anxiety is suddenly redirected to the task at hand.
So you can actually focus.
Yes, your brain can search for vocabulary faster. You can listen more attentively to the person you are speaking with.
Instead of just listening to the panicked voice in your own head.
Exactly. You are actually present.
You actually start communicating with the human being in front of you. That makes a lot of sense.
It really changes everything.
So let's track the journey so far just to make sure we've got it. We have acknowledged the heavy feeling, right?
Yeah.
The baggage of past embarrassments.
Yes, step one.
We understand the evolutionary trick our brain plays to make us hold on to that fear. And we have decided to open our hands and release the fear of mistakes.
The bags are on the floor.
The bags are on the floor. The tension is gone. The hands are empty.
Yes, the hands are completely empty.
But, life doesn't stop just because we dropped our baggage.
No, it doesn't.
You don't just stand in the airport terminal staring at the suitcases you left behind on the floor. You have a destination.
You have somewhere to go.
Right. What is the psychological next step once you have finally let go?
So once the baggage is dropped, your orientation completely shifts. You stop looking backward at the past,
Okay.
and your vision naturally turns to today and the future. The psychological weight is gone, so your steps literally become easy. The texts describe this phase as walking lightly.
Walking lightly. I love the physical sensation that phrase evokes. It really makes me think of an analogy.
Oh, let's hear it.
Imagine a completely messy desk.
Okay, I know a few of those.
Right. Let's say you have a desk covered in old, unfinished papers, broken pens, coffee cups from like 3 weeks ago, and just a bunch of unpaid bills.
A mountain of clutter. Just a very stressful environment.
Incredibly stressful. Sitting down at that desk feels heavy.
Yeah, you don't want to be there.
You cannot get any new work done because there is literally no physical space to place a new piece of paper.
Your eyes are just constantly darting around to the old bills and the old coffee cups.
Exactly. The clutter demands your attention. But then imagine you take a trash bag, you sweep all the old papers away, you throw out the broken pens, you wipe down the wood until it is completely bare.
Oh, you clear the space.
Yes. Now, sitting at that empty desk doesn't feel intimidating.
Not at all.
It feels like an invitation. Because the desk is empty, you can finally spread out the blueprints for a brand new project. You have the room to create something from scratch.
That is a wonderful way to picture it. That empty desk represents the concept of what is possible, which is really a central theme in our source's final section. Yes. When your mind isn't cluttered with the memory of every single verb you conjugated incorrectly last year, you have a mental clean slate.
A clean desk.
Right. And the sources anchor this fresh start with a very simple, very grounding statement. Today is a new day.
Today is a new day. It sounds so straightforward, almost like a cliche at first glance.
It does, yeah.
But when you view it through the lens of cognitive load and clearing off that desk, it is deeply practical.
It is incredibly practical for an English learner.
Every time you wake up and decide to speak English, you are sitting down at a clean desk.
Yes.
The person you are talking to at the coffee shop today, they have no idea that you used the wrong preposition yesterday.
I have no clue.
They do not know about your past mistakes. They are only experiencing you right now in this moment.
Exactly. The only person bringing yesterday's mistakes into today's conversation is you.
Wow.
If you leave them behind, the interaction is completely fresh. But I will say, this requires a certain level of discipline.
Why is that?
Because the brain's habit is to reach back and pick up the heavy bag.
Yeah.
Just because it feels familiar.
Oh, right. The familiar weight. Like, even if the backpack hurts your shoulders, it feels kind of weird to walk without it after 5 years of carrying it.
Yeah, you almost miss the pain because it is predictable. You know how it feels.
That is so true.
So walking lightly requires you to tolerate the unfamiliar feeling of freedom.
Tolerate freedom. That's a fascinating way to put it.
It means accepting that your hands are empty, which means they are finally available to grasp new opportunities.
Right.
If you are clutching a heavy bag of fear in both hands, you physically cannot reach out to shake someone's hand.
You can't hold a cup of coffee?
You cannot grab a new book. You cannot wave to a friend.
Because your capacity to receive is completely blocked by what you are refusing to drop.
Perfectly said. And this is where the sources culminate. They give us a final declaration that builds on this newfound capacity.
What's the declaration?
Everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
Yes. When the fear of making a mistake is removed from the equation, your potential for language acquisition just skyrockets.
Because you're actually open to it.
Exactly. You start playing with the language. You start guessing words based on context, which, by the way, is exactly how children learn their native language.
Oh, of course. Children don't stress about grammar.
Not at all. They aren't worried about looking foolish. They're just trying to get a point across.
They just want the toy or the snack.
Exactly. They are making highly effective mistakes.
Highly effective mistakes. I love that term.
Yeah. Every time a child says, I eat the apple, the adult says, oh, you ate the apple.
And the kid doesn't cry about being wrong.
No. The child's brain just registers the correction without a single ounce of shame. They just update the software and move on.
But adult learners
hold on to the shame. And that shame is the heavy baggage that literally prevents the software from updating.
So by dropping the baggage, you allow your brain to update organically.
Yes. You let go and you learn.
It is incredible how shifting our perspective on something as simple as a mistake can completely rewire our ability to learn.
It's transformative.
We began this discussion looking at a heart that feels heavy, a mind just bogged down by the past.
Staring in the rearview mirror.
Right. And by simply recognizing that weight, giving ourselves permission to put it down and physically opening our hands to release the fear, we arrive at a place where everything is possible.
But it's important to remember the journey from heavy to light is not a one-time event.
It's not a magic spell.
No, it is a practice. Every single time you open an English book or step into a meeting or try to order food in a new country, you might feel that instinct to pick up the heavy bags again.
The habit is strong.
Very strong. The art of letting go is the daily practice of checking your hands and making sure they are open.
To everyone listening right now on your own English learning journey, I want you to consider this your clean desk.
Yes, a fresh start.
The next time you open your mouth to speak, you are completely untethered from your past attempts. Let the language flow, stumble if you have to, and make brand new, glorious mistakes.
Highly effective mistakes.
Exactly, because those mistakes are the very stepping stones to fluency.
They absolutely are.
Well, before we finish up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought to explore on your own. We've talked extensively about how dropping the heavy bags empties your hands and clears your mental space.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did, and we know that releasing the fear of mistakes sets you free. So as you go about your day today, looking at the world with just a little less weight on your shoulders, ask yourself this.
What's the question?
What are you going to do with all that newly discovered empty space in your mind? Now that your hands are finally open, what possible future are you going to reach out and pull toward you?